Very good afternoon to all. Thank you for being here today. Welcome to Tally CA Connect. This year being the first assessment year for the compliance of mandatory audit trail, and with the start of audit season, we thought we should have a brush up session on the edit log feature of TallyPrime. And with the recent ICI event at AI Summit, we could understand that a lot of people had queries with regards to edit log. So this seemed like the right moment to take up this topic. And I understand with the return filing season, many of you are occupied. We had good number of registrations, but maybe people couldn't join. But definitely the recording will be useful. Our expert for today is CA Parth Patel. Parth is from our product excellence team. He is our go-to person for any Tally related queries we receive. So thank you so much, Parth, for taking the time to take up this session. And since edit log feature is not as vast the topic which we take up at the CA Connect sessions, so once Parth concludes with the pointers which is relevant to the discussions, and post that we can take up queries. That works, Parth?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Komal.
Okay, thank you. Over to you.
Yeah. Okay, let me just share my screen. Please confirm whether that is visible or not. Yeah, that's visible.
Yeah, yes, the PPT screen is visible.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining in such a busy tax season, and since this is the last week, so I hope everybody would be busy. We'll try to make it very, very quick, short, and objective oriented. So today's topic we have is audit trail, edit log. So this has been going on since over a year. It started with implementation in April 2023, and since then the silent implementation is going on. So today we'll briefly cover with respect to basics of audit trail, then what to look for as an auditor, what are the key 4 points that we should always check with respect to books of accounts, and then at the end we will go through what is the practical implementation scenario and what are the pointers that you should take care of before ticking on the audit trail part. So let's quickly go through the MCA notification for the companies. So for the companies, they came up with, and then the same was delayed due to the COVID period, and now it has been implemented from April 2023. So this is one of the shortest notification with respect to a particular requirement, we can say. You can see on the screen, there are only 5 lines with respect to the audit trail notification, right? And it is very, very crisp and very, very specific. So this was implemented from April 2023, right? Now, what are the fine pointers for companies from this notification, right? So the first one is every company which uses accounting software for their books of accounts, they should use only such software which has a feature of recording audit trail for each and every transaction. Now, transaction is also defined under section 2 of the Companies Act. What needs to be recorded? Each and every change with respect to a transaction in the books of accounts, that should be recorded, right? And last but not the least, we need to ensure, I would rather put that the company needs to ensure that audit trail feature that is there in the accounting software cannot be disabled. So these are the few fine pointers. So basis on this, what are the key requirements or key features that company should look for in an accounting software, right? So to put it very, very simple, here we should look for date and timestamp with respect to an actions which are carried on for a particular transaction, right? Then the second one is whatever are the changes which are taken care with respect to a transaction, right from creation to modification to its deletion of a transaction. This all changes must be tracked. So right from creation to deletion, all the changes has to be tracked. The third one is there should be continuous logging of the entire changes which is occurring over a specified period, right? And the same logging should not be disabled. So as a user, one should not be able to disable that logging. So that capability is part and parcel of the audit trail. The fourth one is user details must be captured. So since the objective of the audit trail is to ensure that there rests a particular accountability with respect to a transaction which is being captured in an accounting software, right? So from that perspective, a username has to be captured for all the actions, like while creating a transaction, while modifying or altering a transaction, and even though the transaction is getting deleted, the username has to be captured. Then the software needs to have a version comparison capability. And that, what is that? Let's say a transaction is created, so that becomes a version 1. A transaction gets altered or modified, that becomes version number 2. Then the third one is transaction again gets altered or modified, that becomes version number 3. And last but not the least, the actions that are already happening with respect to a particular transactions in the books of accounts, whatever activities are occurring, that should be recorded in a sequential order, in a chronological order, or to make it more specific, in the same order in which it occurs, right? So overall, if we look from the perspective of the notification, the audit trail, simply if you want to put it down in few words, so audit trail is nothing but a trail of transactions which is recorded and maintained by a particular accounting software for a specified period. So I hope everybody will have a fair idea. Meanwhile, if anybody has got any questions in your mind, there is a Q&A button on your screen. You can put down your questions, queries in this Q&A button, and we'll be happy to answer your questions, queries, and doubts. Right. So let's move ahead. So this is from the company perspective, what they should look for in a particular software. Now let's come onto the auditing perspective. So there is also a reporting notification which mandates auditors to report certain things with respect to audit log implementation, right? So everyone knows, all knows, right? What are the finer points which as an auditor you need to look through from an accounting software, right? So again, this is a very, very crisp, a 5-line notification, correct? Let's drill down to the pointers based on this notification. What as an auditor we need to look through. So if we look through the reporting aspects, there are 4 key requirements. As an auditor, one needs to understand and satisfy that the accounting software which is being used by a company, it has a feature of recording audit trail. The second pointer is the same has been operated throughout the year for all the transactions for a specific company. And the third one is audit trail feature has not been tampered with. So that capability should not be able to be tempered. right? And the last one is, so audit trail is also a part of data, and that audit trail should be preserved as per the statutory requirements of record retention. So as per the Companies Act, whatever is the period of maintaining the books of accounts for the past X years, the same requirements applies to the audit trail as well, right? So audit trail becomes a part and parcel of data that is being managed by a company, not just the log, right? So it's an integral part of a particular company data with respect to their transactions. So, as per the reporting requirements, these are the key 4 points that should be looked through for reporting purpose, right? Now, looking to this, there can be different practical scenarios with respect to auditorial implications and the actual implementation from the client perspective, right? What can be those kind of practical scenarios? So we have created one chart for you to understand this. What can be, the different scenarios, and as an auditor, how you can ensure and satisfy yourself that the client is compliant with respect to a particular audit trail requirements, right? So let's go to that. So let's say this is one client, right? So there is a possibility that they are using two versions of Tally. Either they are using normal version of TallyPrime, and the second one, they are using edit log version of TallyPrime. So if they are using edit log version of TallyPrime on or before 1st of April 2023, by virtue of using this edit log version, they are compliant with respect to edit log requirements. And you as an auditor will have very much ease and confidence in satisfying that whatever transactions are being captured by a particular company are being captured within the audit trail environment. So now coming on to the second part, which is more prevalent when we go to the market and when we hear from our customers that they are using normal version of TallyPrime because this was not mandated before April 2023. So those case of clients, they have two kinds of behavior. One is they are using it on or before 1/4/23. So before April 23, they were using it. Now on April 23, they have moved their data from normal TallyPrime version to edit log version. So in that case, they are compliant by default just by virtue of migrating their data from normal TallyPrime version to edit log version. Then there can be another case wherein they have moved to edit log, but after 1st April 2023, then in that case, as an auditor, you need to take a judgment that whether they are compliant with the provisions or not, because it might be the case that they have started their activities after April 2023. That can also be a case. There can also be an otherwise situation as well, right? Then coming on to the last set of clients which are using normal TallyPrime version on or after 1/4/2023, but they have used an option of enable edit log in their company masters. So this set of clients, they are using normal version of TallyPrime, but here they choose to use an enable edit log option in the existing version, which is a normal one they are using, and they are capturing all the transactions under that environment, right? So this situation also requires your attention as an auditor, and you need to take a best judgment based on the situation, scenario, data, and the intensity of transactions, as well as the amount of activities that is being captured from the edit log perspective, right? So this is a fair amount of what can be a situation in your client base with respect to edit log. Now let's move on to the TallyPrime, how TallyPrime takes care of edit log, and let's understand how edit log activities are being captured, right? So I'll move from this and we'll go to Tally. So here you can see on my screen, there is a Tally symbol which contains the letter EL. If you see in the logo, so this itself is an identifier that if somebody is using a TallyPrime, that's an edit log version. There is also another Tally which is open in my system. So if you see this, there is no EL logo in this. If I open up this here it will read as on the left hand side top of the screen, it will read as TallyPrime Silver. But if I again move back to the edit log version, here it will read as TallyPrime Edit Log and then Silver. So these are the few indications through which you can easily understand that which version that I'm working upon, whether it is having edit log or it is a normal TallyPrime version, right? Now, one of the key requirements that MCA denoted that there should not be a facility to disable the edit log option in that particular version. So TallyPrime edit log version has been aligned with this particular requirement. If we go to a company, and here if we go to alter, you will not find that edit log option anywhere in the company alteration. Whether I should be enabling that option or I should be disabling that option, that functionality is not there, because the MCA says that enabling disabling option should not be there. Even though I go in detail of, you will not find that enable disable edit log option here at the configuration level. So whenever any of your clients data which is moving on to the edit log environment, by virtue of moving the data from normal TallyPrime to an edit log version, they are compliant from the very same day. They don't need to do anything else. The rest things are being taken care by the TallyPrime edit log version itself, right? So let's say now we create some transactions and a master, because masters are also, an integral part of a transactions, right? So in TallyPrime edit log, whatever masters are being created, that will also be tracked with respect to edit log, and whatever transactions that are being created, that will also be tracked with respect to edit log. So since this is a blank company, let's create masters. For example, I'll use go to here. We have create master. Let's say we create one ledger. We are creating a ledger. And that ledger is for particular party. And we have saved this ledger. Right. Now, let's say we create another ledger. For example, we'll mark it as indirect expenses. So we have created two ledgers. Let's create one stock item. So we'll create one stock item. And we'll create another stock item. So now we have certain masters which are there in my. So if I go to the ledgers, then I'll have this ledger and another one which is into the expenses as conveyance expenses, right? So conveyance is there in both, correct? So now let's alter something from a particular ledger. Let's say this party, we are adding something. We are changing the registration type, right? Going ahead with the changes. And okay, it is asking for effective date. So yeah, we have given the same as effective date. So we have changed a particular ledger. Now from where we should get the details of this changes, correct? So here you go to chart of accounts. So there will be a list of all the ledgers that we have. Here we can go to the basis of values. In basis of values, we can get the reports with respect to what are all the changes that is made with respect to audit trail for a specified masters. So since we are on the ledgers, I want to view from basis of value only altered ledgers, only non-altered ledgers, or all ledgers. So by default, it is all ledgers. Whenever we go to chart of accounts and ledgers, it shows by default as all ledgers. But from an audit trail perspective, if we want to view a limited ledgers to an extent, those which are altered, edited, modified, then we need to select here the altered ledgers. Do we want to include a deleted ledger? So if something is deleted, that will also get included. So let's say if I filter here, so you can see on the screen that out of all the list of ledgers, only one ledger has come, right? So this is how we can filter out that particular report. Now let's say, should I create the same report for all of the companies that I'm auditing in? No, that should not be the case. This is the same report that you need to see for all the companies. So we already have one option of save view on the right hand side. So we'll click on the save view. I will save this particular report view. Let's say altered masters auditor. Additional configuration, I'll mark it yes. Why? Because I don't want to save this report for each and every company going inside. I just want to save this once a lifetime. So I'll mark additional configuration as yes. I'll select the all companies option in save view for. So what it will exactly do, it will save this view for any companies that you are going to open in your TallyPrime in future at any point of time. So let's say I have used this option, all companies. I can also define a period. If I want to define save view by financial year, I can also define it here. But at the moment, we choose not to define here, right? So we'll go ahead and this report is already saved here. So whenever I want to refer a report which is for altered ledgers. So again, I do not need to go to a chart of accounts and create that report. Rather, I will use go to. In go to, we have already created a report that is altered ledgers, altered masters auditor. This is the one that we created. So you can see here that report is readily available. Right. So I hope that will be helpful. Now, what changes are made in that particular master? I want to view at the master level. So I need to go to the master, click on the related reports and click on the edit log. So here it will show up when it was created by whom, what was the date and time. And if we want to view it inside, then we can click on enter and we can see here what was the configuration when it was first created. And if we go to the second, then it will show comparison. So here you can see on the screen version 1, version 2. Version 1 is when it was created. Version 2 is when it was changed for the first time. Now, whatever are the differences with respect to a particular field that are also highlighted in the red. So when I created this ledger, this was first, I marked GST registration type as unregistered, and on the alteration, I marked GST registration type as regular. I also added an address field which was not there when I created originally. So this way, whatever are the amount of changes that is occurring at the master's level, that will be captured in different version like version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, that you'll be able to see. So this we have seen at the master's level. Now let's go on to the transactions level, that how this particular edit log behaves with respect to transactions. So we'll go to the day book. There are already 2 transactions. Let's create some other transactions. So we'll go to transactions. We'll change the dates. For example, 5th of April. Let's select the cash ledger. Then we'll select the payment to a party. Let's say we are paying 7,000 to a particular party, and we are saving this transactions. Let's create another payment of expenses. Here we'll create another ledger. For example, so the vehicle expense is 8,900. So we have created 2 entries, right? Let's go to the day book and we'll have, so these are the 2 entries which have passed in 5th of April just now. Now let's alter one of the entries. Let's say we'll alter the expense entry. Now this was 8,900. Let's make it 89,000. Let's also add a narration. So we have added in this and we are saving the transactions. Now there is a list of transactions which I have. As an auditor, I want to understand out of total transactions I have. Here you can see 4 transactions, but in the books of accounts that you get, you can have 10,000, 5,000, 500, 50,000, 70,000. So out of day book, again, we will follow the same principle that we used for creating a report of altered ledgers in the day book. We will specify the period. After specifying the period, we will use basis of values. Here, we will ask Tally to show only altered vouchers by selecting the second option. And whether we want to view deleted vouchers, we'll mark it as yes. And we will filter this report. So now you can see out of 4, there are only 2 transactions. Right now, let's say this transaction looks to me something important and I need to drill down. I'll enter that particular transactions, and in related reports, there is an option of edit log. So here I can understand that this was created, then it was changed once after creation. Now, if I want to see what all changes had been made, I will go to the last version, that is version number 2. So earlier it was 8,900, now it is 89,000. And the narration was not there in the version 1. Narration was included in the version number 2. So I'll have a clear picture of what all has changed in this. Right? So whatever are the amount of change which is happening for a particular transaction n number of times, TallyPrime will create these logs n number of times, version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on, so forth. Right? So this is how the edit log will behave at the transaction level. Now, we have already saved one report for masters. We can do the same kind of report for transactions. So here we have filtered these transactions. These are already altered transactions. You can see here list of altered vouchers. There is also an option of save view here. We will click on the save view. We will name a particular to this report like altered transactions auditor. Will mark all companies for this report. So whichever companies you are opening up in your specific TallyPrime, by default, this report will be automatically generated. You need to use only go to button and see this report. So here we are coming up out of this. Again, we will go to, we'll use this go to button, and here we'll type. So alter transactions auditor, this is what we saved. And based on the period, we have only one transaction. If we want to change the period, simply we need to change the period and the report is readily available. So what all companies you are going to open, this report will be opened up by default. For example, we are into a different company right now. Let's say we have here an option called F3. So if I change the company, for example, if I go to a bank statement input, then there is no vouchers in that particular second company which is open, which were altered. If I go to F3 and again go on to this edit log 24th July, I'll have this report. So you can see multiple companies alter transactions on the same screen just by using F3 option, and you can keep it saved forever for your reference, right? So this is what you can see from the edit log perspective, right? Now, there is also a question that is coming up, that where the Tally will capture if my client is going to migrate their own data to an edit log. Will I have some sort of time and date when the data was migrated into an edit log version? So yes, definitely that is there. let's say if we go to a particular company, let's say we change the company to bank statement import. So here we will click on the company menu. In company menu, we have edit log just below the chart, and in edit log, if we just go inside, then here we'll have an activities which affect the edit log. So which are the activities that are affecting the edit log? So at the company level, whenever the data is moving out of edit log version, this will also get captured. Whenever the data is coming back from normal TallyPrime to edit log, this will also get captured. So here the first activity is company data moved from TallyPrime. So it was moved from TallyPrime to TallyPrime edit log by a specified user on this particular date, 24th July and 2 o'clock. So this log is very, very important. Whenever first time your client is using normal TallyPrime and they are moving to an edit log version of TallyPrime, this log will help you to understand and assess as an auditor that when the data was first moved to or migrated to a TallyPrime edit log version. Now, important thing to note here is that if any of your clients are using edit log version before 1st of April, or right from the beginning they are using TallyPrime edit log version, then this log will not be required, because from the date when they created the company, their data resides in the edit log. So that start date will not be there. The start date will be their data creation date itself. The moment they are moving that data out of edit log environment to normal, then in that case, on the company menu and edit log option, this log will start getting captured, that data moved out of edit log version. And whenever that data gets back, again, another log will be created stating that company data moved from TallyPrime. So these are some basic requirements which is mandated, and the same can be easily taken care and understood from the TallyPrime edit log version. So that's it from my side with respect to a standard edit log as a topic. So we have certain questions on the chat. We have certain questions on the Q&A. Let me just go through that.
Yeah. So Sanjay is also, I think, typing one or two answers. You can take up from the top because.
Okay. So I'll take up from the chat. How to extract alter transactions. So, sir, I want to understand what is the exact requirement of extracting alter transactions. Let's say if you see on the screen, I'll again share my screen. So let's say if we have created that particular transactions, alter transactions, right, as an auditor. So if you want to extract this, you can extract it as a report. Let's change the company. So here you can export this. You can export in the PDF Excel, and you can get the list that these were all the transactions that were altered when the audit was carried out. So I hope that will be helpful. So yes, that is replied. The next one is how to enable edit log feature. Is it available in TallyPrime 2? Yes, sir. TallyPrime edit log feature is available in TallyPrime 2. Your first question is with respect to how to enable edit log feature. So as we have already seen that MCA requires that the software which is being used by a company should not have feature to disable it. So in the same lines, we have here, if you see this edit log version, there is no option to enable and disable. The moment whichever version you are using, if you are migrating your data to edit log version, then there is no need to enable edit log in your TallyPrime. If you are using a version in which you need to enable edit log, then that is not the correct version. So your client should be using TallyPrime edit log version only, not the normal TallyPrime version. I hope that answers. What is the next questions? Let me just go through.
In the Q&A, you can check.
Yep, let me go through. So a question here where we can see the reports of modification or alter the entries in TallyPrime. So sir, there is no change in alteration behavior of TallyPrime, since that particular log of activity is with respect to a transaction. That is why the edit log details are made available at the transaction level, not at the report level at the moment. The report which is available uh, for your consumption is the listing of all the transactions or the listing of all the changes into the master from daybook or either chart of accounts. The same that we have gone through in this session few moments before. The next question we have is how we will get to know what are they have changed alter exactly. So yes, since the amount of transactions can be very high, so uh, whatever are the alterations or changes are changes with respect to a particular versions of a particular transaction. So those versions are available from the edit log option on the right hand side button. We will again share and let's again see from where you can see those versions, right? So yeah, that's the screen you can see on the TallyPrime. So this is a transaction which is altered. We need to go inside. Since the changes are only with respect to a particular transactions, here we need to click on the related reports and there is an edit log option. The moment I go in the edit log, we will have all the version 1, version 2. If there is a further change, that will be version 3. Let's say just make one more change. Let's say we make it to 82,000, for example. And again, we save it. Again, we go inside the transaction. If we go to a related report and edit log, we will have a version 3. What all are the changes? So in version 3, this was the change. In version 2, this was the change, right? So this we can view on the same screen. So this is how we can see the differences of versions. So yeah, that is very well taken care of how to see the versions. How to migrate to edit log version. So sir, it's so simple. Whenever you have your data of your TallyPrime, simply download the exe of edit log. I will show on the screen from where you can download that. So here we'll go to the okay. So here let's go to this TallyPrime. So in the website, there is a download section. The moment you click on the download section, there are two version exe. One is the TallyPrime 4.1, which is a normal, and the second one has TallyPrime Edilog 4.1. Simply one needs to download and open that particular data file into Edilog version, and things will be taken care of automatically by Edilog version. There is no change of functionalities, capabilities, the way of working. Both versions are exactly same. Only the thing is that whatever are the mandated by MCA with respect to a capability, that is added in the edit log version. I hope this will be useful. The next we have is, what are the compliances give to department? So, sir, as of now, there is no sort of report or some sort of give back which is defined by department in reporting perspective. So, in the absence of that, we are waiting. If you have something from on that aspect, we'll be happy to hear from you on that. What are the record we have to maintain for the complete of complete the compliances? So, sir, in nutshell, since edit log is a part of financial data or books of accounts, simply by maintaining tally data for the required period, which is mandated by MCA, your requirement of managing data under the compliance with respect to audit trail will be automatically fulfilled. You don't need to do anything extra, just maintain the tally data and things will be seamless and in your control. What is the impact of insertion of transactions in case of automatic numbering of transactions? Yes, so let's say if there is an automatic numbering of transactions, then it will impact the subsequent transactions which are already present, and the numbers will change. If the numbers will change, of course the edit log will change. That's a very good point. We are working on that particular aspect. If we can, uh, you know, showcase that this change is not the user intended change, rather it was a system intended change. So yes, ma'am, that point is very well taken, and that will be, updated. So one is how to maintain statutory compliances like TDAS, TCS, GST, EPF, ESIC, PT. So, sir, these are all different domains. What we'll do, we'll request Komal, if you can light on this question. We can have a separate session looking to your questions.
Noted. Yeah.
So one question we have is, can we made a backdated entry and its impact audit log? It's allowed in audit trail. So, sir, since the audit trail, we are capturing three important things: what, when, and whom. So in these three elements, uh, the time elements cannot be created backwards. So here, uh, there is, even though you are creating a backdated entry, that is absolutely fine. The system will capture the time which is there, which is the current time, right? So that is definitely a valid thing. You can do a backdated entry. There is no restriction on that part. The only thing which is required by edit log is just maintain the log of uh, date and timestamp and the user who has done it. So there is one question: how to get report of audit trail from Tally in Excel for all the daybook. So you can export the filtered daybook, the save view report that we had done. There is no report for a specific uh, audit trail because that report format is still not, being specified. What is the format in which that needs to be submitted or it is required by the department, right? So, but yes, sir, if you have anything on this particular, how do you want to export as an auditor or as a user? We are happy to have your suggestion in detail. You can connect us back after this session. The next question is, at the time of filing annual return 23-24 of ROC, any data required to file in the form? Sir, as far as information we have, there is no such data that requires to be filled in. If we hear something as an update, we'll definitely uh, come back to you. Yep. So there is no data to be submitted in the ROC at the moment. the next is, can entry be edited? Will that impact auditor judgment? So, ma'am, entry can be edited. There is no restriction on the alteration and changes to the books of accounts. What is mandated is capturing the trail of transactions. So again, it comes onto the materiality part of an auditor. If that edit of an particular entry is of material impact, then as an auditor, you need to take a judgment based on that particular amount of materiality.
Yeah, so we have taken up all the questions written. So we have good number of time. So in the audience, if you would want to take up the questions directly, you can raise your hand. We can do a open discussion. You can raise your hand and you can ask your question directly to Parth. And Parth, should we take up any more, like we discussed? Can we take up query other than audit trail as well?
Yeah, so in the interest of time, we have till time, so we can definitely take.
Yeah. So if you have any other query or a short query, of course, because we cannot take up a vast subject, but any issues or small queries you would want to address, now is the time we can do it. So either you can put in your chat box or, you put in the Q&A, or you can just raise your hand. We will unmute you and you can ask the question directly. Okay, Sanjay is also typing in, helping with a lot of answers. So, Mr. Pranav, yeah. Yes, Mr. Pranav, we have unmuted you. You can ask your question.
Okay, so hello sir, my name is Pranav. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So my question is regarding to the audit trail report from TallyPrime. So currently we are getting only the daybook wherein we find only the username who has altered the entries. So can we get a report like in a daybook with audit trail for the entries which has been altered and what is the nature of alteration? So is there any report in TallyPrime?
So currently, there is no such report which is prevalent. But yes, that is something which we hear from many of chartered accountants, and we are trying to define a uh, common report which can be suitable for each and every kind of scenario that as an auditor you want to look through. So if you have any format or if you have anything with respect to this, or uh, any method or manner in which you want to look audit trail data, please do share with us. Please connect back with us and we'll be happy to take it up.
Okay. Okay,
Because
sir.
this is the first year of implementation, and so we are
Right,
analyzing
right.
the diverse feedback from the fraternity as a whole, and trying to incorporate into the upcoming ones.
Okay, okay. Okay, sir. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, there is one question, sir. If what the system date is changed at the time of alteration, will the software allow the alteration? So here the software does not control the system, rather both are independent. So the software is dependent on the system, hence software cannot intrude into the system, and if there is a date change of system, then it's an alteration of system and it will behave accordingly.
Thanks a lot, Parth, for your time. Thank you, Sanjay, for helping with the Q&A. And I'm now concluding the session for all.